But man, I saw this post on Facebook. It said, a salary is a drug that you give to somebody to make them forget their dreams.
Ooh-wee.
Hashtag be great.
Mm-hmm.
You're following what you believe you should be doing. It's hard. And right whenever you're about to throw in the towel, some grand offer comes to you to go ahead and solidify you throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
And then you go for it.
Yeah.
And right on the other side of that toss was the actual win. I was done with
yeah.
what I was doing
Yeah.
and got that offer. And that offer was driving me slowly to hell in a Rolls Royce. And I think that dude failed and chose the wrong one. He
Yeah.
met her at some club, hop, some coke or something, drank too much vodkas, too much Jaeger bombs, bro. Saw this chick, she was bad. They got married and the dude fell off. And he had to fall off so he can get his life right and see that, man, dude, what are you doing? If you're gonna say something in the form of correction, say that shit like you say it.
Yeah.
Don't soft shoe around it thinking that you're gonna get the respect because you said it softy and churchy. I think what it was, she was offended. She saw some chick that looked better than her in public, had a little bit more
Are you
smack, had the
serious?
bonnet on, and she's like, I don't like this. I'm fixing the top hat. She went back in her feelings.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
they
We
just
get
married.
taught
Yeah.
more boy shit on television and then rap albums. All the stuff that we listen to on our rap albums
Yeah.
help push like that agenda.
Okay,
That
yeah.
single, forget women. It's bad. If you're like 40 years old and you still want to do that, you're the boy that should have been mentioned in this, not the men. Because
Okay.
men want to get married.
Okay.
Real men look for companionship and desire that. I think that society allows rappers just to rap to continue to say stupid stuff to hold people down. But whenever it comes up to actually doing something with what you gain, you're not allowed to do it.
Kinda-
When I used to be
kinda
able to just
faking
sit back
it.
and look
Yeah.
cute and not say much,
Yeah.
my circle was seeming to grow. But
Okay.
since you got me all having to speak and all this and
There you
carrying
go.
on,
There you
my
go
circle
then.
is deplenishing.
There-
A lot of people are
okay.
running away
So
to
there
the
you go.
hills.
Because people didn't know that you
I don't like
actually-
this guy anymore. He talks too much. I'm out.
Yeah, people didn't know you actually talked. They just
Right.
thought you made jokes on it the entire time.
To those who came before me, beside me, and behind me, inspiration is free. Inspiration doesn't manipulate or disenfranchise. Inspiration engages and raises me in spirit of the nation. Inspiration is that river feeding the village for generation after generation after generation. God doesn't displace them. Men do. Gentrification is that modernized tactic like the Indian Removal Act, 1830. Think. We just want to live our lives, our children, our wives, our neighborhoods revitalized. We deserve freedom to thrive. Can we get our families' health and wealth back? Not the lies, you keep that. These are the times to be wise. Candidly rate who? Candidate who? Interests align like the rise of the sunshine. There's no compromise when it comes to our lives. Candidate who? Are you amazing in the way that you shine, carrying a torch, defying odds, feeding truth, not the lies, lighthousing the legacy rising from decline? May our interests align, eclipsing the mind more than a few times in a lifetime. Can we join forces like Buffalo Soldiers holding the line? I'm challenging politicians to open their minds, build our community faithfully, gracefully, without the trickery. We the people. We the people. Do you see? We the people. You don't see. You don't see we. Even if the Constitution wasn't written for me, we the people. Don't you see? We don't follow blindly, mindlessly, or monkey see. Set us free. Change the policy or rip it up like the trash it be. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people. Better yet, do it for humanity. You are not just following the herd. You have the shepherd's mentality. We need that kind of vitality. We just want our lives fairly, candid. Candidate who? Should we be more than two? Should there be more than two? We need more than lip service, fake smiles, and gerrymandering. I said, candidate who? We need more than good fashion with dramatization, articulation of passion. We need action. Remember all the Black Wall Street, the Dixiecrats, and Jim Crow terrorists with hoods who caused terrorist acts? January 6, 2021, to the suppression and illegal repression, construction and black codes, we're all legal and viral setbacks. Candidly, I'm rating you on the things you do and fail to do, watching as you blame it on the who washed hands with who. Politicians' platform is left of you. Candidate who? Who's the candidate? Whitewashed America propaganda while filling our communities with crack, all documented to be fact, while we just want to live without entities, foots on our back, tattoos reading hundreds of years of whips across our back. We've shown love, but never get it back. I said, candidate who? You know how to get the job done, and we're counting on you. Poem.
Yeah. And that's how you introduce the pot. Welcome to the pot tonight, guys. It's your neighborhood-friendly designer, Big Bobby B. We're in here with some beautiful people tonight. That was the Falcon. We got Mook the Barber in here. He's our resident guest. How would you call that? How would you call Mook? Because he's here every month. So
every so often, right?
Yeah.
Call me a resident. Thank you.
Mook the Professor.
Mook the Professor?
Yes, sir.
I like that one too.
Yeah, I like that. Has a better ring with what you got going on now. Tell everybody about yourself, what you got cracking here in Vegas.
Well, my name is Marcus Bowden.
Yes, sir.
The people know me around as Mook, Mr. Mook, for my fellow students at the original barber school where I am a barber instructor at. I'm also a licensed barber here in the state of Nevada for the last 27 years.
Yes, sir.
I'm also the proud owner of Chris Products. It's a product line for barbers. I'm also just a business owner as well. I'm an owner of the original barbershop, the Eastern location. So I got a lot of things going on right now. Hands are a lot of things right now. So blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you again for having me.
No, thank you for being here. You make it amazing. And also that Chris product, that stuff works on like every form of hair, by the way.
Every form of hair.
Like every hair everywhere. And like, it does great. I mean, if you don't like hair there, this stuff works for hair everywhere.
Hair for everywhere.
You feel me?
Yes.
The Falcon. Talk to him.
Yes, sir. It's the Falcon. You know who it is. I'm here with you guys, and what I'm doing in the community is bringing enlightenment through poetry.
Yes, sir.
Through making sure that poets have a place to vent, a place for what we can call therapy.
Yeah.
So I have events throughout the city on different days or different nights so that people have a place. My goal is to support multiple different venues so that our people have a place that they can feel comfortable and go to for that time that they need.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love
what
that.
we're doing.
You got anything coming up this week?
Yes, sir. Friday night, stuff my turkey.
Stuff my turkey.
Friday
Did you
night,
ever make it
stuff
out
my
there?
turkey.
We made it out there.
Saturday
It's pretty cool.
is the multicultural bookstore.
Okay, I like that too. That was
Saturday
actually really
is the
good.
multicultural bookstore.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, multicultural bookstore has a book fair on Saturday. I'll be doing poetry at the book fair at the Pearson Center.
Okay.
It's at the Pearson
Yep.
Community Center. So
Yep,
I'll be
yep.
doing poetry there and at the multicultural bookstore on Saturday.
Send us all the info.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Absolutely. I know you sent me some, so
Yes.
I got it. And introducing our special guest of the night, Mr. Robert Twix.
My
Yes.
God.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
How you doing? Robert Taylor, known as Twix, born and raised in North Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
The owner of Fata Mall Barbershop franchise, Ivor Salon, the best rapper alive, Vinyl Rapping Company, and your candidate from North Las Vegas' Ward 2 City Council.
Yeah. And that matters. He's a candidate for Ward 2. I'm in the North Las Vegas area, so we need it.
Definitely. We need
We
good
do.
candidates.
We need like good representation.
Good representation.
Representation with a reputation.
Right.
Shout out to my good brother, my good barber brother here
Yes,
sitting
sir.
next to me, Twix.
Mhm.
We've been doing this for a lot of years out here
My
together.
guy.
man.
Yes, sir.
Mook the Professor. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Professor. That's what's up.
Shout out to Croc as well over there at Stuff My Turkey. That's my partner as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Crockett, that's my partner.
Yeah,
Shout out
he's
to
a
Quan
homie.
for always keeping it live on the ones and twos.
Every time.
You got
Thank
the
you,
air
Quan.
horn noise and all? What? The air horn noise? That's for Quan.
There you go.
The beard is crisp, though. I'm like, some point.
Yeah. Who phased you up, by the way? Please. Please do. This is a 5 Guy show tonight. We on.
I should have muted that before I plugged in. No, I've been doing my own since I was 15. But it almost grows like this. Like I just have to clean up this area.
So you woke up like
It grows
this.
like this. Yeah. I literally just have to clean up like right here.
So unfair, right?
That's so you're
Nice.
so Italian, bro. You got like such you got good wins. You're
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my hair is a little messy right now, but I do my own fades and everything.
Yeah. Cut
With
it
no
off.
mirror. Just off
What?
feel.
Off this is
feel.
feel. Off
Yeah.
the feel.
feel.
Well, you do that all
Dang.
Phil.
Yeah.
I cut my hair because I'm too
I mean, I
poor
have
for
the
a
front
barber.
mirror. I don't have like the side mirror to see the back.
I use a side mirror.
Oh,
But back when I get my life right, I'm getting back connected with my guys. It's just, dollars just kind of coming weird. It's a weird city. I don't know how to do Vegas yet. I just don't understand how to do it yet. Texas, I can. Oh, that's $100. Oh, that's another $400. That's another $60. Money was easy, but here it's like, man, what do I have to do? Because I don't do nasty things, so I'm not going to do any nasty things for money.
Right.
My man.
But I feel like that's something that I have to do.
Don't
here.
do it. That's strange for change.
Nothing strange for change.
Like I feel like
I
I'm walking.
feel you.
Like,
I feel
what I mean?
because
Like
back home I'm from Jersey. So I can know where to get the money from. but
Always.
in Vegas, I'm like without doing anything crazy.
Yeah. You want to come to this party with red couches?
No, thank you.
But you got to remember, too, it's a transit city.
Yes.
So because of that,
Yes.
everyone's feeling the same.
Mhm.
And because
Right.
everyone's feeling the same, everyone's like, well, I'm from here. I don't know. But only a small percentage. I'm a 3%er.
Yeah.
Only 3% of us are born out here my age.
Right.
So 97% aren't.
Right.
Like in this room, I'm probably the only one born and raised out here, right?
You are.
Yeah.
You?
Oh, he
Two
is
of us.
too.
What?
Yep.
3% in the building,
Yeah, that's
right?
tough. That's
So but
heavy.
it's so rare. So because of that, it takes a while because, the ones who've been here at least over 10 years, over 20 years, like, okay, come here. This is where the good food is. This is where the good barbers are at.
Right.
This is where the good podcast is. That's how it
Right,
happens. So
right,
organically it will happen.
Yeah. Well, question about that. How do you y'all two being 3%ers, how does it feel adapting to people coming into the city? Like how do y'all train people to not be so, looking up at the buildings and acting so touristy? Because I know
So-
there's a way that y'all do this.
So because my parents came from Tulsa, Oklahoma, like Wall Street,
Right.
I understand that. So everybody's transit, most of them,
Yeah.
right? It's not that many
Yeah.
generational people from Las Vegas. It's a
Right.
new city still, right?
Right.
So we have to admire that because 65% of the jobs back in the day were all hotel jobs, catering to people who are visiting who end up living here.
Yeah.
Most people who end up buying a house here visited here 3 times first.
Right.
So
Right,
because of that,
right.
when it comes to letting people know, it's like, hey, once you get cool with somebody local, we let you know where the local spots are at.
Right. Okay.
And I will keep this real too, because people always say, being a barber, hey man, Vegas is different, man. It's weird, man. I've been there for 2 years. I don't know nobody. Because we got to be observant. Because think about it. I don't care where you from. We know a lot of y'all.
Right.
You don't know a lot of us.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not 10 people from Vegas in any other city.
Nah.
I know a lot of New Jersey, New York, Texas,
Right.
LA.
Yeah,
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
Right.
because of that, we could take it. We shouldn't prejudge anybody, but we have certain characteristics where people are from.
Yeah.
If somebody's from Philly, usually people from Philly gonna shoot from the hip, but keep it real. If they broke, they broke. They got money, they got money. You know what I mean? So different cities got different characteristics. So because of that, real locals, we just sit back and observe.
Right.
And after you've been here like a job, you've been here long enough, you made it out here long enough, you're like, all right, I'm gonna let you in, come over here.
Yeah, I see it. I totally
Because
see it.
it's a lot of stowaways, throwaways, and a lot of people. Everybody come out here,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we didn't got tricked many of times.
No, I
Yes.
see it. I totally see it. I see the
That's
test.
You know, you
Right.
need somebody from
Right.
the soil to tell you how it really is, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
No, I see that. 100%.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, in that light, do you think, and then I'm just going to jump right into this question.
hello.
Do you think that politics will ever matter specifically for black men, and will it ever just make anything for us? And I'm not saying for people, but I just feel like I still feel that there are people that are paid to be here on this rock, and black men have to just pay to be here. I don't know how else to put that, but
Speaking on politics, I'll say that it'll only matter when we know we matter.
right.
It could never matter without us not knowing we matter.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not thinking about being a grandfather, and if you're 20 years old and you don't have the thought of being a grandfather, you already have the thought of not being here. If you have the thought of not being here, you're not going to buy a home to change your trajectory of your life financially.
Right.
You're not going to think about financial literacy. You know what I mean? So all these things matter. So it can't matter until we understand we matter. And that's a whole nother thing that we got to peel the onion on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And where does what does that take? Quan, you know this. You're around a lot of black people. So what do you think it's gonna take for more black men to unify, like, and to make like what you're saying happen? Because we won't even tell our next generation how to be hopeful, because we're still walking around kind of like half-hearted. We don't really carry a whole lot of hope. We do, but like in a mass sense, I don't think we carry a whole lot of hope together. It's just this different feeling.
I think just in America in general, we have like a competition spirit. Like I've been saying, even with this, with Trump versus Biden and Trump versus Kamala, we look at it like Niners versus Cowboys.
Right.
We're picking a team, and we're dying hard for that team. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem in our country in general. Like, we are competition and entertainment based.
Right.
And so we look at everything like a competition. We want to be right. We want our team to win.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's competition, when there's that battle, we're fighting with each other instead of like standing up and uniting against the NFL.
Right.
We're arguing with the fans. You know what I'm saying? Instead of seeing the NFL as putting the fans against each other.
Right.
I'm going to have to agree with Quan on that.
I see that.
Example, in the barbershop world, okay, in the barbershop atmosphere, in our world, you have barbershops where you have 6 or 7 barbers in this barbershop. And let's say this barbershop is predominantly all black men in this barbershop, right? Like Quan just said, we have such a competitive spirit in us. It's like, you know what? I've been making money here with these guys at this barbershop for however long, right? It's time for me to go open up another barbershop on my own. Yes, we have this entrepreneur spirit, which is awesome, but it's like, why can't we open a barbershop together, the same name somewhere else, and we're all owners of this particular barbershop? Instead of one barber leaving the barbershop, I'm gonna go open up a barbershop around the corner from you. Now I'm your competitor. Instead of us saying, you know what, let's come together and open up several barbershops as a unit, and now we're all owners together, opposed to being competing against each other.
This is what I've always wanted to see, and I see it in a lot of other cultures, but I just don't see it much with us.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I know a really good group of guys from London or somewhere over there, and they went to Texas, went to college, and just opened up a club, and then brought on people to open up other places, and then they just did it together, and they took over the whole city.
The whole city.
By doing that step by step together. And I don't see us, like if I wanted to start a poetry lounge with you, we would start a lounge and somebody would come in and poke you on the hip or slap me on the ear, and then we would be all, oh, yeah, I don't want to work with Falcon anymore. I'm about to go do my own thing. And he jump off and go start a failure venture somewhere else.
Right.
By myself, thinking that I'm winning, and I just lost my partner. Why don't we, like, I don't see too much of that in our culture.
Instead of coming to Falcon and say, what did you do? What did you do to get here?
Yeah.
How can you help me do the same thing that you've done?
There's not too many people like that do that. That's 1%, I believe, in our culture.
Yes, I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm a prime example of that, because I work with people on different shows and different things like that. And I would gladly say to any individual, yo, let's start another show here. Let's do it together. But sometimes individuals have their own mindset. Yo, I want to do it my way.
Why is that, though? Why is that? Why can't we just one mind for 1 minute, then we got enough money, and then we kind of move on instead of messing up the susu? We just ruined it, and that bothers me every time I think about it.
And again, it leads back to that thing that you were talking about. And I say that we have a divided and conquered mindset more so than a united mindset. And that is what's tearing us as a people apart, or keeping us apart. Until we get past that, whether it be religion, whether it be politics, whether it be, who likes light-skinned girls versus who like dark-skinned girls, everything is to divide us.
It actually works, man.
And it's working.
It's
something that is working.
Working very, very,
So
very
allow
much
me
so.
to say this.
Yes.
Because I feel like without hope, we're hopeless. We shouldn't be here.
Right.
And I'm not speaking about hypotheticals. I'm speaking about my real life. What
Yes,
I'm
sir.
about to say.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was at House of Faith with Tito, Zeke, Johnny, and Trey, right, on Lake
They sang
Mead
some
in
good
North
albums.
Las Vegas, right? When I saved my money up to buy another car without owning the house, which is ridiculous, right?
Right.
And they had that meeting saying they had to move to another location, right? That's when I had the idea of buying a barbershop. 'Cause I already had the money saved up for almost. I wanted to buy this Jaguar, 99, everybody bling bling, right?
Yes, sir.
I went to the owners. I said, hey, y'all, I found a spot. I did my due diligence. I could be House of Fade's number 2, right? Then they had a huddle or whatever. And then one of the owners said, hey, we done got somebody of the 4 who's going to get House of Fade's 2. I said, well, I could be House of Fade's 3.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, nah, do your own thing. They gave me the blessing, like, do your own thing, Twix. You could do it. In barber school in Long Beach, I had 2 names in my shop already, Fademar or Unfadable. At the time, I didn't know how Unfadable would make sense because Unfadable means it can't be faded.
Right.
So I chose Fademar. So shout out to Unfadable Masters because when they put Masters, it made sense.
Makes sense.
Right?
Understood.
So when they said that, then I got my own shop. So I cannot sit here and testify that we don't do that because I did that.
So we do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm on this podcast because we have to talk about progression. Or if not the case, man, we hopeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back to what you mentioned about America, when it comes to competition, capitalism causes competition,
100%.
right?
100.
But with us, it is different. You know what I'm saying? With us as black men, it's different. That's why you got more black men representing their teams versus American flag.
Right.
If you see a black man on the American flag, he's a real stomp down veteran,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
We represent,
he's a real
we
stomp
represent,
down veteran.
yeah, we
100%.
represent our teams or our neighborhood's game more than we do anything else because we feel like that's the only power that a lot of us have. That's why you have OGs, they're the president. And then you got the hitters. You know what I mean? They're the army. We made our own little so-called politics in the neighborhood.
Yes.
And we learning that we cannot win that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So once we realize that we've been tricked and bamboozled to where it's, systematic racism is real, that's real. But now we on cruise control and we turn it faster. You know what I'm saying? So until we get that, we can't move further. So it's us. We got to understand us. And we need more people speaking like these conversations for
Yes.
more people can see it to move further.
Yes.
My opinion.
I'm agree with you
100.
because I do the same thing. That's why I have 3 different shows throughout the city. And instead of me hosting all the shows, I have other poets host with me. So
Right.
every other show that I have is multiple hosts
Right.
because I could go and get all of the money for those shows. Yeah, I can be the popular one, but that's not the point. The point
Right.
is spread the wealth and make sure we're unifying as a team and as a unit.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, when all my barbers, I let all my barbers know when I hire them, I'm like, listen, and if you ever want to get your own shop, I'm letting you know right now, I could do it with you. I tell them that off the top.
100%.
And that's why Nardo and Next Level, Nikki, everybody got their own shop. It's about 17 barbers that came from my 6 barbershops and 5 salons who have about 17 shops themselves.
Wow.
If they asked for my plumber, I gave them my plumber. I gave them this, I gave them that. You know what I mean? And then guess what they do? They contact me to wrap their windows, do their business cards. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to show we all could win.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Yes. And that's what we're supposed
Yeah.
to do.
And this is reality. This
That's-
isn't
that- yeah,
hypothetical.
yeah.
This is happening right now.
A tornado with it. From
Yeah,
right here,
hello.
make it a big thing, and then take it
Yeah.
to Texas.
Now, so then my question is, again, we were talking earlier off the how do we teach that to the younger people coming up?
Yeah. How do we
Talking
teach the
about it
older
right
people?
now.
How do we teach to us?
That too.
We
So
might be
don't
too far
burn out.
going.
You think? There's
So-
got to be something, man.
On NPR News, I was listening to I can't remember the name of the escaped slave, right? But it was a gentleman, and he had somebody helping him, right?
Yeah.
And he's one of the escaped slaves who knew how to read and write. So they was reading his memoir out on NPR News, right? And this is the very first time I heard something that made me cry in my life, where I just heard it, And listening to the thing, they was reading out his memoirs about how he was freeing slaves, like 2:00 in the morning. You go to the outhouse, et cetera, right? And a lot of slaves were scared to leave.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We can't leave Massa. We can't leave Massa.
Right.
And his helper, sidekick, was like, I can't believe they don't want to be free. And this one made a teardrop. He said, we can't save them all. Some are too far gone.
Right. Right.
God, the thought of slaves could be free and they were scared. And then I thought about us out here in America.
Yeah.
How many of us have went to Africa? I haven't went yet. We travel everywhere else. We go to places that are colonized and we taking pictures and DR'd everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going back to our homeland. right? Why? Because they made it look like Africa's so bad. That's what everything is. So I correlate that with like, dang, we almost equivalent to the slaves who were scared to leave because we don't feel that way, and that's how they felt.
100%.
And again, I talk reality. I've been to Africa in my mid to late 20s. You know, I'm in my 50s now. So I had been to Africa by the time I was 26, 27 years old. 2-3 countries in Africa. You know, and aside from that, I've traveled other places in the world, and we've talked about this. I've lived in China. I've done multiple countries like South America and different places. Because again, my point is not just talk about it, be about it.
Yes.
So if you hear me, I'm not talking about it if I don't know anything about it. I'm not talking about it if I'm not with it.
Right.
Yeah.
If I say, yo, you need to go and open your mind up and see what it's like in Africa. I've been there.
Yeah.
I done been to countries in Africa. I done been to the dark side of Asia where they say the Chinese people are black.
Right.
I done been to the dark side of Colombia where you only see the fair-skinned ones here, but I've been to before the passport bros. I was going
Right.
before that trend.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I went in the early 2000s, you know, before passport bros and all that. I done been to Colombia to see where, you know, the Choco, where the Afrocentric, you know, people are. You know, so I'm about.
And that's good. I was in Atlanta then. You know, I should went to Africa. I was in Atlanta because at the time period, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But we get older and we grow like, no, I got to go to Africa.
Yeah, I was young and I still knew. Well, again, these are individual feats, but how do we get more people to, you know, do those things? You know.
Yeah. How is that?
We need to help the youth.
Should it be the media?
We need to focus on the youth.
Fresh Prince trained us.
We need to focus on the youth. That age bracket of between 15 to 25.
How? Because
No.
they're
We need
so
to get 'em before
TikTok
that.
out. Do we got to do everything on
We gotta get
TikTok?
'em
'Cause I'm
before
not
that.
jumping on there.
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, how about this? Big Brothers of America, what happened to it? What happened? What happened to the mentor program?
Social, bro.
What happened? What happened? Men need men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Young men need
Yes.
men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Young men need somebody that they can look up and say, you know what? That's cool to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Robert Twiggs trailer running for a political office, that's cool to be like that, opposed to
Yeah.
the boys that's over here sipping syrup and pulling out the pistol for no reason with his pants sagging.
Right.
Right?
And speaking
No,
of-
young man, pull your pants up.
Yeah, we don't want to
These
see
drugs
that.
would lead you to this route.
Yeah.
Men need men.
Right.
Yes.
Like we hear right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good for us. This is good for the soul. But what about the 4 young men that need to be sitting right here, right next to us, listening to what we're talking about and understanding, okay,
Have y'all shared with young
Black
men already? I've
designer.
shared the show.
Right. I'm in the schools for real.
and it's for real.
Man, I'm in the schools all the time. Past 20 years. There's not been one school who asked me to go and I didn't go.
Okay.
And in the last 10 years, I let them know I could be making money, but I'm here talking to you. So I need you to pay attention to what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I keep it real with these kids, and I get their attention. And I ask the teachers who are the bad kids first, because I was a bad kid. And then I get the bad kids at the end, and I tell the bad kids how to lead of the class. And I pour real stuff into them. That's what teacher did to me. She tricked me, which is the best trick in the world.
Absolutely.
She put me outside. She said, you're tough, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, the kids respect you. I'm like, yeah. She said, listen, this is at J.D. Smith. J.D. Smith was a bad school. To do history, J.D. Smith was bad.
Kwanzaa, yeah.
I was watching
Never
TV
heard of
shows.
that one.
I was watching TV shows. And I'm like, that is nothing on J.D. Smith. Everybody had guns back then. That was a normal thing. J.D. Smith Rancho, that was normal. But anyway, she took me outside, and I'm getting to the kid thing and mentor how you get in kids' brains. She said, listen, when I look at you, I need you to tell the kids to be quiet because they respect you, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're tough. I'm like, yeah. So we go in the classroom, right? So now instead of me being the leader of the talkers, now I'm waiting. I got a job. I got responsibility.
Yes.
Right? And she's trying to have the kids be quiet. You know, Caucasian woman, mostly black kids and Hispanics, right? Everybody's talking over her, throwing stuff. J.D. Smith is wild, right? She looks at me. Hey, everybody calm down. She's trying to talk. Be quiet.
Listen.
And they did it.
Yeah.
And I felt good because of that. Because now I'm like, that's dope.
You
They're
know,
listening.
man.
They made me listen.
What was her name?
Made you listen.
Can't remember her name. That's the bad part about it.
That lady is a lady that I've always dreamt about seeing. That lady's important.
It's very important.
That lady's important.
Very
That
important.
one person is the one person that tells you that one thing that you believe. And then you run with it.
And because of that, I asked
that's
the
why you're
teachers,
here.
who's the bad kid?
That lady is important.
So I can put something to them.
Right.
Because you
Like,
saw
listen,
the whole
you-
atmosphere change.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then in his
And that
mind,
gives some type of power, like, wow.
yeah.
Power,
His whole
confidence.
outlook changed right then. The way you operated changed right then. That lady
Right.
seeing you was magical, man.
She had psychology.
People don't get
on
that.
her- yeah, she had
So,
some psychology in
yeah.
her pocket.
You did.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
worked.
Psychology in her pocket.
But
Made her job
knowing the worst kid can be the best leader
100%. But everybody
because
don't
they
see
have that power for a reason, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Every American Greed show, they always say, if that person was new this, it could have been the president. They could have been this.
This
But
man could
instead,
have
he
been a
did this
pastor.
instead.
Like, well, this pastor
Because
was
it still
there.
takes thought.
Right.
That's beautiful. I can't ask you this because you weren't targeted, but do you guys think that black men are purposely being targeted in the race right now?
What do you mean?
Like, are we being erased? I'm asking this on every show because people have their own perspective or view.
You say
of
erased?
erased, like our placement, positions. What's the other word? Value, rather. Like, do we matter?
That's a
Is it like, are we like a just kind of like a facade, like an image to people?
All right. So, what I get from that question is, there's some things that just can't be done because I understand our power. I understand our value. There's the reality that we can't be eliminated, but the power structure does have a hold on how we move because, again, Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to teach a child than it is to teach a broken man.
Right.
So as long as they're filtering in all of the nonsense on our children, we're going to stay behind in this particular race. And that's the race for empowerment. So yes, we're being ostracized. We're being put in a corner, so to speak, while everybody else is still learning. If we're using this as an educational metaphor, we're not learning because we're being punished. We're being punished for whatever past discretions or whoever feels that way. But there's no way to eliminate us.
Well, I'm saying, like, are they actually trying? Because I feel like it's I don't know, like a weird, invisible something in a room. Like, don't be here.
Let's talk about America where we live at, right? Who right now can we say is a powerful black man that we all look up to and respect?
That's what I'm saying. Everyone that we get to see, I see them being crucified somewhere. They're hanging on trees somewhere.
You couldn't even answer that question.
No. No.
You see what I'm saying?
I can't even say,
are we
like-
being erased? Like Falcon said, I feel like our power has slowly been taken from us.
The
We
Rock.
have it.
The Rock.
We have it.
He's powerful.
The Rock.
Who?
The Rock.
But what is he? Does he really identify with?
I mean, he identifies with us as much
He
as
identifies,
Tiger
but
Woods.
not in a political sense.
Okay. So
Right.
my point that I was going to get at is the black men that we have right now that are supposedly the valuable ones are like the Jay-Z's. This is a hip hop. This is a rapper.
Right.
Entertainers.
Entertainer. The entertainers. You took the entertainers.
So there's nobody
now.
of any.
But nobody. I'm not saying they don't have any substance.
Yeah.
But after Barack,
They're just
it's
happy.
like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
what happened to our power as a unit, as a black man? We have nobody that's up there right now in the politics
That people want.
that want to say, you know what? I want to pattern myself after that.
Right.
All right.
Right.
You know, I come from. I'm a preacher's son. Right. I'm a preacher's son. And right now, when it comes to pastors and preachers, they're like low on the totem pole, especially in black ones, because there's nobody up there right now that we could say, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a good pastor. That's a church that I want to go be a part of.
Right.
Right? Opposed to these pastors that are all about this word of faith movement. And, you know, come and spend money in my church and you'll be blessed.
Right.
And the next minute they're getting these allegations of things that they're doing behind the closed doors. Right? So right, I feel like the value and the power of us has been taken away. We have nobody to look up to.
So when you take away your example, then you do take away the.
My dad was my example growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was my example. I wanted to be like
He
him.
became my example. That was the last real pastor.
You know,
I got to
wa-
meet yours. But
what he
Yeah.
said, what he talked, he lived the same way. There was never no
he didn't
contradiction
have,
in what
any,
he
he
said
didn't
and
have
what he
two
taught.
rooms at all. He had
Never
one room.
was that. So I thought that was the way it was supposed to be. But as I got older and more mature, I said, you know what? My pops was a really, really rare case of an individual.
Very, very. And he actually
Shout
had
out to
time
Willie Bowden, Dr. Willie
talk
Bowden.
to everybody he met.
Rest in peace,
Like
pops.
2,000 people that, I got to talk with him how'd you have this much time to speak with all these people? You know, he was really on it. He was active.
The only black professor that received his doctorate in the state of Texas. And what year did he get? I think it was 2010. I want to say he got his doctorate. The only black man in the state of Texas to receive a doctorate degree in theology. Shout out to you, pops. I love you and I
Shout
miss you,
out.
man.
And then he was the
Shout
first
Okay.
black dean of DTS.
First black dean of Dallas Theological Seminary.
So it's good to see him making steps for us so we can have somebody look quiet. Like, you got people to look up to. You got Sylvester Stallone. Who else you need? You know what I mean? Like,
He's so
you know what I mean?
He's great.
So we're over here struggling. Tony
I can
Evans
jump
fell
on
off. I mean, now we need you to go ahead and step it on up.
I could jump on that too.
Okay, that's hard. That's
I
hard.
don't got to step it. I'm stepping right now.
I know it.
That's
I'm
why
talking
I'm
about.
here.
I'm talking about in that room so
You
we can be
know.
like, oh, this
So I'll say this.
the house is not as ugly anymore.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll say this. Straight black men
Mhm.
are the only people that don't have no group.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel. That's what I'm trying to say to people. Like, that's why I always feel so lost.
So when I go
Soccer.
places,
Yeah.
right, I am one of the few,
Right.
right?
Yes,
Right.
Nothing against my LGBTQ. Man, I got family. I love
Right,
they
right.
support me, et cetera, et cetera. I'm with you, right?
Yes.
But at least, like I just said, it's a title.
Mhm.
They got it's all kind of different groups. A woman, I don't care what race woman, you're a woman.
Mhm.
Whatever you are, you got a group. Black men don't have a group. There's no group. So when I walk in a room, right, everybody looks at me like a lion,
Yeah, 100%.
right? So I got to come in like a panda.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I got to speak owl. I got to move like this. I got to be light as a bird. I got to be everything.
Everything.
The sum of all, which is sigma.
Yes.
I got to be everything. You know what I mean? But that's cool because I'm cool with that. But I know a lot of people can't do that. So we end up bowing out and going back to the things we used to do. Right? This fight right now, running what I'm running for, Hakeem Jeffries, he's amazing. You know what I mean? Senator Stephen Horsford. We got some, you know what I mean? William McCurdy Jr., but it's not a lot.
Right.
It's not a lot. And to a point, you know, when we come in rooms, it's like, all I'm hearing now is, we see big things for you.
Yeah.
That puts a target on your back too.
100%.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm cool
Absolutely.
with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm cool with whatever type of target you mean, hypothetically or reality, because you die two ways, satisfied or petrified. Ain't no middle.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I know me doing what I'm doing, how I speak, every time I come to this studio, different shows, am I the same person?
Yep.
I'm going to be the same person.
Right.
Because on my grave, it needs to be the same. And that's how, as a black men, we need to exemplify that. The same as, I just found out your dad was a pastor. It makes sense how groomed you are, how solid you are. You know what I mean? My dad was the most intelligent man I knew. My father was the father of the Regal Estates neighborhood. To this day, grown people in their 50s and 60s like, man, your dad taught me this, your dad taught me that. See, a mom, great. Mothers are motherly figures for their children. It's rare you have a mother figure for the entire neighborhood.
Right.
A black man to be the father for the entire neighborhood.
Shout
My
out to
dad on
Kerry
409
John.
Rossmore went to the used stores and bought desks and put it in the carport. And every kid that came to my house to play with my brother Prop or my sister Alicia Taylor had to learn a word for the day before they could play. Meandering, plethora. You had to learn a word,
figured
then
out.
you could play.
Then you can play.
So that's why certain things I can't take. Nah, I'm a lived example, man. My dad was that guy. That's why I go to schools.
Right.
And that's why I talk to these kids, because they need to see it.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
We got to do it more, though. I can't be the only one. I just contacted a few promoters. I'm like, hey, listen, man, I'm tired of being the only black man going to these schools talking to these kids. I'm 46 now. I've been doing something in my 20s.
I asked for some help too because I've been doing like the art council, and I'm one of the only art directors in there that's black. I'm the actually only black man out of 250 people in Vegas, bro. That's insane.
That's how it is, too.
There's no representation.
That's how it is,
Like I said, the last show,
Right.
we can't change anything in the city, the way people see art, the way people receive art, what people think art is, if we're not in these rooms.
Exactly.
Changing that. They're going to change the freeways up on us. They're going to change our neighborhoods. They're going to bring stuff into our neighborhoods that doesn't look cool to us because those people in that particular space that I get to visit once a year make all the decisions.
And they have an idea.
And we have to be in there.
Yep.
I can't be the only one because I can't bounce off of myself all day, you know, and they're not going to understand what I see.
That's real.
So I need more representation in those spaces.
Quick thing that I didn't know, and it's very important because I haven't said this on social media yet, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to be shared, right?
Okay.
I joined the SOT board. The SOT board is kind of like Parent Teacher Association, right? And it's something that the Assembly made in Nevada to where every high school has to have an SOT board, right? And the SOT board is the staff, teachers, parents, and students. Only so many, right?
Okay.
When you're part of the SOT board, you talk about the homecomings, proms, things that have to happen to the school. I've been the vice chair at Canyon Springs SOT for the last 2.5, going on 3 years. Right? I did that because my kids go there and I'm down the street and I'm a concerned parent. I go to schools all the time. Let me be legit and be a part of something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just found out that the SOT are the ones who have a big hand in picking the new principal for a school. I never knew how a principal got chose. I just thought, they just hired them, the governor chooses the principal. How would you know? Unless you're part of the SOT board. Now I'm telling all of my friends, hey, join the SOT board. What high school you live by? Join the SOT board.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I interviewed 4 people who try to be the principal at Canyon Springs. And one just got chose. I'm a part of that. Yes, I'm a part of that. And then after doing that interview, the SOT chose me to be the one with the superintendent and the regent to interview the top 2.
That's really cool.
I didn't know that existed. We have to start joining these boards.
Yes.
It's very important.
Electoral college.
Yes.
100.
Exactly.
With that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And fathers need to be joining that board.
Fathers.
And mothers need
Fathers.
Fathers.
mothers who, I'm just saying this, y'all don't beat me up. There's baby mamas out here who haven't been trained. Their mothers were a bag of crap, and then their mothers were even a bigger bag, and they didn't teach them anything like proper, man. Then they go run off into a church and hide behind like a banner. Dummies come in, don't see it. I was one of them dummies, so I'm saying this for a lot because I know a lot of us. Okay, we can just cover it with Jesus. Oh, okay, yeah, we can take this. Moral oral. Next scene, looking like a major idiot. All my face is on the floor, and I'm trying to pick it up. Because I thought there was like a little bit of training there I could work with. Mothers got to do better so that way fathers can be present.
Understood.
I'm talking
We
about in weird
that last
situations
time.
like this. So I don't know how many people deal with the kind of stuff I deal with. Being a super sensitive person, thinking that you can help make somebody better and you just miss the mark.
Right.
And it's hard to bounce back from that. So
Mothers, young ladies are becoming mothers so young now.
yeah.
So young now. So we talk about these mothers that are now raising these young men without these fathers. It's tough
Why
right
is
now.
this though? Because I'm not a leaver, Being young, you see situations you're like you leave, but I'm not like, that's not my modus operandi. And I know a lot of dudes who don't leave, who get pushed out and can't figure out how to get the conversation right to stay, end up in that place. So I'm saying, what would
Well, a lot of them leave because they're scared, right? A lot of them leave because they're not prepared at all to be a father. And a lot of
I don't
them-
think any of us are though.
True.
You have examples though, but
Yeah,
what
no,
you mean
right,
prepared? You don't
right,
know
yeah.
until you're in the game.
There's no book on how to be a parent, right? You got to
Right.
kind of go in there, and go at it and see how it is, right?
Yeah.
Trial and error. But again, that's where it really, really lies at for me is that these young ladies, these young women who don't even know how to be a mother, right, are raising these young men, and now they're becoming just as emotional as their mom.
Mm-hmm. And if there's like they become like a strange kind of narcissist in a way.
Yeah.
I see that.
And the father's not present to let them know, man, this is how a man's supposed to be, man. I'm not knocking on women, but women, the emotions is like a dance. Goes up and down, up and down, up and down. A lot of men, our emotions kind of like flatline.
Yeah.
But now these young men are being raised to be so
See, I
up
was
and
already,
down with their emotions to
but
whereas
there's
as
a
soon
few
as
of us
somebody
who are
says
already
something,
up here.
right?
Like I've always been up here, so I've always felt and been super empathetic. My daddy's a super strict guy. He can punch me at 6 a.m. before he left to work, and I'd feel it when he got back the next morning. I wouldn't do anything in between that time. It's like I got it, but there wasn't a whole lot of conversation, you know. But I got it. He's a super genius, so he's able to. I don't know. He's weird. He's different, but I still miss that.
Right, that's
You know,
strict.
that one little part, I miss that one little being able to see this type of person and just walk myself into a hole that I'm still kind of digging out of. It's 15 years later. My daughter talked to me so bad the other day. She talked to me so bad the other day. Like I said, I'm a full-time artist.
How old is she?
She's 15. You know, and I'm like, all I do is me. If I don't do me, I don't eat. And I have to rely on my wife, you know. But I couldn't buy a job. I couldn't like get a regular job nowhere. Not like I don't want one,
Right.
but it's just, you know, God doesn't want that for me. So
Right.
in this space, I'm needing my family to be here with me and support me and, you know, know what I'm going through. But instead, that side is just, if you don't have $1, you're nothing. My daughter will not talk to me. You know, if I don't send her money for shoes, nothing. She doesn't check on me. You know, she doesn't care anything about anything that my life has or what I'm about or anything.
Right.
And it's sad. I know it comes directly from her mother.
As men, I say this, man. I haven't witnessed that with my kids. You know what I mean? But I see it all the time as a barber, right? I do know this, though. I feel this. 'Cause it's not factual. It's my opinion from me years watching things. Men, and this is men, all men, we don't get props for being a father till the child is a grown up.
Like, right.
Then they tell you, my father, great father, right? He passed away about 8 years ago, right? But my dad always lectured us.
Yeah.
It was always a lecture. And I used to hate it. Everything was, my dad would make up more homework.
Oh, yeah.
People like, you done? I'm like, yeah, well, I got homework for you. Like, who does that?
Wow.
I did.
But because of that, that's why I'm here now, right? Because of that. It was training. So like I was getting trained by a ninja, understand?
Right.
So because of that, I'm like, dang, it took me that long to really, really get it. You know, and my dad was a genius with letting me know how I'm going to feel about things later. So when later happened, I didn't question him.
Right.
And because of that, I do that to my kids all the time.
Right.
When I was 10, my dad told me, he said, son, when you turn 15, he said, have everything I told you has been true? I said, yes, sir. He said, does it make sense? I said, yes, sir. He said, there'll be a time in your life when you turn 15, 16, where everything I say won't make sense. So remember when you turn that age, this moment now, how everything made sense. He said, because your body will be changing. So when I turned 15, 16, and he said things, I try to go against it. I'm like, no, he said it. I'm not going against it. Thought
He knew
process.
exactly what to do.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He gave you lady talks too and all of that?
All that.
I got none of that. My daddy was so focused on work, he didn't have no time for none of that.
Sometimes he might have been too hard, but you know, it worked out for me. He caught me crying when Veronica broke up with me in 8th grade.
Wow.
He said, what's wrong? My dad was so busy. Like,
Right.
He walked in the house going, he had a briefcase. My dad was a suit type of guy, you know. And he was like, what's wrong with you, boy? I'm like, nothing. He felt it. He said, what's wrong with you?
They knew something.
I said, Veronica broke up with me. Veronica was the finest girl, J.D. Smith. Right? You know what I'm saying?
You had her.
I had her. I had the finest one. This is my first time feeling attractive. I never felt attractive. I always knew I was talented because I always on talent shows.
Yes, sir.
So I knew that.
You can never bag this school. This school's the best school ever. This school bless your life.
This school, man, everything. But
Man.
I pay attention to experiences.
I wish I went there because I hated every minute of school.
Dang, I loved everything.
Every minute.
I loved it. Ferris
Bueller's
Bueller's
Day Off.
That was my life. But that's my life. But with that though,
been that guy.
when he called me like like being sad about it, he said, "Boy, let me tell you something." He said, "That is not your wife." I'm like, what?
Right.
He said, "Don't ever cry over a woman unless it's your wife." And
And you just
because
took
of
it
that,
in.
that
That's
made me
still in your-
solid.
right
See,
That
man.
made me solid for years. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He said, look at me, boy. At the time, he was like 40. He said, look at me, I still look good.
Yeah.
He said, we get older, we look colder.
Yeah.
As long as you keep
It's a scary place to be
Oh,
when
you
you're
keep
trying
your
to
what?
maintain a
your mind
marriage.
together.
You
your
can't
mind
be
together.
black, getting better looking, and trying to maintain a marriage. I'm playing with you. I do it just fine. We don't have no problems.
My man.
Yes, sir.
Now that ain't true. We all have problems.
No, I don't have any problems with that. I'm good.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I don't work in nightclubs anymore either.
There
That
you
was
go.
a terrible life.
Terrible life. I just thought when you came to Vegas that would be your life again.
You thought I was gonna walk right into the bus?
Well, I
That's
just
fire
being in
right
Vegas
there.
for so long, understanding that lifestyle, I figured, coming from Texas, this would be easy for you to come and transition to
It
Vegas.
would have
life.
been because I was working some of the hottest spots in Dallas. Big numbers, big
Mhm.
spots.
For a big guy,
Yeah,
Bobby B.
yeah. I was
Like, nah, I don't want any more of that. I don't want that lifestyle no more.
and I was printing money. I could just call a number when I got to work. I'm gonna do 1,000 a night.
Mhm.
No problem.
No problem. Now I can't even rub 2 dimes together. Barely. I said dimes because they're more important than nickels to me. We only got 4 minutes on the show, man. So,
Young
10
men need
minutes?
men. We need to be there for our young men.
are you in the schools outside of your school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in schools.
I'm
outside
working
of
on
our
it. I'm
schools,
I'm
man.
at community centers
Mhm.
now, but I
Mhm.
Promoting to
Yeah.
the schools, that barbering is a way outside of you don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
Become a barber.
Yeah.
It's given me a career for the last 30 years. Right. I've been able to leverage barbering to ownership of homes, cars,
you've been
businesses,
crushing it, bro.
so
From
forth
the
and
wrist.
so on. Mhm.
Yeah.
All by
And
flicking
they're
the
blessing
wrist.
his
Yeah.
babies. This dude's
Mhm.
blessed kids. His kids are blessed and beautiful. I'd be a tad, not envious, bro, but I'd be a tad bit like, man, I wish I took a left because your life, I love it. I
It
love
was
watching it, man.
the example from my father.
Man, he did great.
The example from my
Shout out to Dr.
father.
Willie J. Bowling.
I saw him get up and go to work. I saw him provide
Yeah.
for us. I saw him love my mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I saw him do. That kind of, me and my sister, my brother, we were affected by this. He gave so much more sometimes to his church members,
Mhm.
to his flock, than he did to his family.
Mhm.
Right.
We sometimes were second. We were sometimes third.
Mm.
But it wasn't a problem. I understand it now. That was his purpose.
Mhm.
His
Right.
purpose was to give to other people, right? Because
Yeah.
we already had it.
Yep.
It was
Right.
already in me.
He's living in it.
Yeah.
I was living in it.
Yeah.
My mother was the wife of this powerful man. I was the son of this powerful man. I didn't realize how powerful I was going to be until now, right?
Yeah.
But it was my father, man, that inputted, power, inputted leadership, he inputted being a man,
Yeah.
right? And I was a father at a young age.
Yeah.
Father, I was scared to tell my father that I had a young lady pregnant when I was 19. So scared.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, man, I'm a preacher's son. How would the people in the church feel about me now
Right.
and feel about him being this preacher who preached marriage before having a
Yeah,
child,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I went totally against everything that my father even preached. I was scared.
Did he hellfire and brimstone you, or did he just tell you marriage?
No, he said get married first.
Okay.
Try your best. I didn't listen, right?
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, his example that he showed me how to raise his family, I did it very well having 3 different baby moms. I
Mhm.
really did.
Mhm.
Right. But again, you know what I've learned? I noticed there's a lot going on social media. The doctor that talked to, I think it was Cam Newton and what's the other guy's name? Nick Cannon. Right.
Yes.
I heard about this. I didn't watch it.
And that's kind of hit me in different ways, right? Knowing that I was one of those type of men. I had 5 children.
Mhm.
I got 3 different moms, right? But I ended up marrying one of those women, right? That I had 3 children by. What happened to my other 2 children? They got
Neglected. Right.
I wasn't there for them. One of those was my son. I wasn't there for him to raise him. I wasn't there to give him what I gave my other son and my other 2 daughters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's tough. And so we need to start telling our young men, hey, look, man, be careful with that.
Yeah.
Just don't go around sleeping with just any old woman and having children,
No,
bro.
my parents taught me that for real, for real.
It'll come
I got
back to
that
it'll come back to hurt you in the end.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, my example. I'm similar to you.
Mhm.
I got 4 different mamas, but the time frames are different. I did my best to make it work in situations that weren't workable.
Mhm.
So if you see the spread 2, and then when I got in another relationship, it would be like years later 2 more, and then my youngest is it's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But if you're, and it's the choice in women that, like you said, you try to bring something out of somebody that's
I just chose the
not
wrong
there.
leaf. It was my, because I was
Again,
smoke signals. So I
that's,
didn't see nothing.
that's understood. I could say the same thing. I could call, my exes chameleons. I could say that all these things we could say, but we weren't guided in the right way in those days. And if you're not guided in the right ways and you make that mistake, you got to live with it for the rest of your life.
100%.
And now it's up to you to uphold the most righteous and honorable way in doing that within your means. So you did a great job. I did the best that I could. And you're doing the best that you can, regardless of that situation.
Right.
We can't, and this is what I was asked to speak at an event. And I felt in my heart to say to the brothers, look, you're not the mistakes that you've made in the past. You can still come out of anything that you have done before now because your life isn't over.
Right.
Right.
Your life isn't over. You still can redeem yourself by the actions that you take going forward.
Amen.
So,
Yeah.
that's just one of the things for me.
I cried the other day. I got pulled over. I had my puppy in my lap. I just got her.
Mm-hmm.
And this car is kind of like, it's going, we had to get some stuff fixed.
Right.
So I was like, oh, let me turn it up, or let me roll the windows down, turn the AC off to sit here where I'm getting pulled over. Same route I've been driving for 5 years,
Right.
So I don't understand why that happened. But all I was thinking, like, while they were coming behind me, was one of these cats is going to shoot me from back here when my dog jumps. And I'm like, why should I have to feel this trauma? Why is that a normal thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, when does that change? That's a weird thing to have to feel that trauma, man. Really.
My shop in Centennial, it took me about 5 months to open it up, right? Because I do a lot of work myself, right?
Yeah.
There's a cat, I'm going to say his name too. There's a cat named Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy would come to my shop almost every day and talk to me. I'd be there 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, doing stuff, painting, whatever, right? Me and Andy had a great rapport. Andy said I think he taught at Arborview or whatever, right? And we had a great rapport, right? Right before my shop opened, like the next week, he wanted to bring up race. And he's like, yeah, man, this race in America, man, it's overblown, man. This Trayvon Martin thing. I said, man, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right?
That's
And
weird.
he was like, no, let's talk about it. I said, brother, I've been doing this a long time. I said, we talk about it, you're not going to come back no more. He's like, no, I understand my racism. I understand about systemic racism. I said, check this out, man. I said, you have a daughter, right? He said, yes, I have a daughter, right? I said, so you think everything's the same for us? I said, what are you doing right now? He said, what do you mean? I said, you're out here walking your dog, patrolling your neighborhood like you're the police right now, right? That's what you're doing. I said, well, I'm not mad at that because you own your house. I own my houses too. I want you to know we're on the same level, right?
Yeah.
I said, but here's the difference. I said, you being a homeowner, you being a great father, me being a great father, us understanding finance and history and everything else. When the police comes behind you when you're walking with your dog, right? You'll have a report that policeman. You'll be like, hey, I didn't see anything. What's up, Andy? It'd be great conversation. Where me, no matter all these awards I've won by all these dignitaries and these churches, all these accolades I have, all these amazing things I've done, when the police gets behind me, if I'm walking my dog 2 in the morning, I believe there's a chance I might get killed. I said, until we feel the same way, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
And you cannot change that.
100%.
I said, so don't, and then guess what? I haven't seen Andy since. Andy lives, but Andy, if you ever watching this, and I'm saying this on purpose,
Yeah.
that shop opened up in 2012. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I've seen
Andy
Andy-
since. Right off Durango and Grand Teton,
Yeah.
Andy come back, had a conversation.
Andy.
Andy never came back.
Come
And
on,
that's the
Andy.
problem. People don't want to take the real. You don't want to
Yes.
hear nothing that real.
Exactly.
Because they don't want to accept it. Not they as in white people,
You
they're
don't
not
think they
black.
believe that it's
People who
true?
don't want to believe in things that have happened.
Right.
Yes.
And it's still happening.
Yes. And still happening.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
still,
cannot understand as a white person and
Right.
still feel the empathy.
Yeah.
And,
totally.
and that's the problem. Like a lot of white people are like, well, that racism doesn't exist. It's like, how can you say that? I've argued with people with this because I, like who I've grown up around my whole life. How can you say that when you haven't been there? I know for a fact I have been treated different by the cops when I've got pulled over with black people in my car.
Right.
Like I know that from experience.
Yeah,
So
you've seen it.
maybe that's a coincidence that every time I've got pulled over with a black person in my car, I've been treated different. Maybe it was just that cop at that time, or maybe not. Maybe it's not a coincidence.
Systematic.
I watched the video with it had
Yeah,
women
with
who were overweight and women who were so-called good size,
Right.
and they had a hidden camera showing how people treat them differently.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? And when I watched that, I was like, dang, that is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Then it hit me. I said, that's a correlation for someone who's not black. You can't relate because you've never been that.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't relate to someone who's blind or who's deaf. I could have the sympathy and empathy for my minuscule mind of what they've gone through.
Right.
But if I haven't gone through it, I can't relate. But what I can do is like, you know what? I can't relate because I've never been blind. But you know what? I hear you now. I hear you now, and I'm going to change my ways.
100. That's a beautiful way to end that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to The Pot. This has been a beautiful show. These are beautiful people. Follow all these guys on their socials and all their real life things that they got going on because they have real life things going on.
Absolutely. Peace.
Ooh, the
Peace
fade
out.
is magnificent. Look at that fade.
Quan is